All right. Hi, everyone. All right. Well, hello. We welcome to our third session of the Family and Researcher Roundtable here at TCSF. I am Casey Craig. I am the Executive Director of the Cute Syndrome Foundation and mom to Stella, our SENAA warrior. And apparently, my dog Claire wants to also say hi today. So if you hear her barking in the background, she's wanting treats. So here in just a second, I'll be able to mute myself so Claire doesn't like to, jump into our meetings. But today we have Shelly Frappier, our Director of Patient Engagement and Data Management, as well as our friends from Citizen. So I'm actually going to reach or hand it over to Shelly so she can talk about our relationship, our longstanding relationship with Citizen. And then we'll go into what Citizen is. We can also talk about our AI tool, how the research has been built up from information from Citizen and how to participate if you choose.
Yeah, thanks, Casey. I'm going to be honest with you. The Cute Syndrome Foundation did not choose Citizen to start. It was Praxis that chose Citizen for us in order to accelerate the IND process using our electronic health records, and they were very successful. We recruited a lot of families, and then it just kind of sat on hold for about a year until Citizen reached out and they were doing patient advocacy group meetings, and they started doing it quite regularly. And through that partnership, we slowly became, I want to say friends, but they were such great advocates for us and me also for Citizen that our partnership became very meaningful to me in particular. Whenever we had advice on some changes, they were very receptive to changing some things, and the tools to share back with you became really easy. And my goal of using Citizen was trying to find, what's in it for the parent, what's in it for the patient, outside of the research era phase. And I found through patient stories and parent stories how parents were using Citizen in appointments to bring up lab results, to, little things like that, or just look at EEGs and share other things that sometimes your hospital and your pediatrician, they don't share the same EHR platform. So it's hard to see other results. So parents were able to do that. And it started getting really exciting. And then the most recently in this spring, I was introduced to their AI tool, and that opened up such a big use for our families. And I'm really excited to share that with you today. And Kate's going to tell you a little bit more about Citizen, and I'm going to pass it over to Kate.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shelly and Casey. Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Haldeman. I support community partnerships at Citizen Health. I've been with the organization for a little over 3 years now. I myself have a rare autoimmune condition. So to me, I'm very passionate about empowering patients and families with tools and resources and data that help them navigate their own care and quite honestly, just bring some relief to families to a very complicated process. And so I have to say, I've been working with Shelly and Casey for some time now, and I am just blown away by the champions that you have here at the Cute Syndrome Foundation. Like, just such a model for what great advocacy looks like. And I hope you guys know how lucky you are to have them as leaders and champions. And we feel very lucky to have this partnership. So thanks again for everything that you have done. But I want to introduce you to a few other of my colleagues that are very important to this community and this partnership. And then we'll talk a little bit about what Citizen does and how you can get involved if you choose. So Mikkel, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Kate. Hi, everyone. My name is Mikkel, and I lead the patient support team here at Citizen Health. I've been with Citizen for over 6 years. So if you reach out on the Citizen Health platform on the chat feature, you're usually going to reach me, or if you reach out by email, you're going to reach me. I'm going to be here to support you and with any questions that you have. If you need assistance creating an account, or if you have any general questions, please reach out and I'll be available to assist you. And I'll pass it over to Gio.
Hey everyone, my name is Gio. I am relatively new Kind of to Citizen. This is technically my third week with the group. However, I previously worked with Citizen more on the kind of clinical operations and data side. So I probably have seen many of your medical records and been hopefully helpful in gathering some of that data for y'all. But yeah, now on the partner team, and nice to meet you. Excited to work with you more.
Awesome. Thanks, Theo. Thanks, Mikkel. Okay, so let's get started with a little bit of information that I can share today about, what is Citizen Health? How do you participate? How can it help you and your family in your situation? How does it go and work to support research acceleration? And then we can dive into some more demos and the actual experience with the data and the platform. Let me just make sure my screen is lined up here so you guys can see it properly. Okay, there we go. Great. Maybe just to start off on who we are at Citizen, we, as you can tell by the introductions today and maybe what you've heard about us, we are also a team of advocates, of patients, of caregivers. Pictured here is Nasha Fitter. She's one of our co-founders. Nasha has a daughter, Amara, who's 9 years old, who has FOXG1 syndrome, and is really a big part of why we started Citizen Health. So Nasha, from day one that Amara was born, knew that, this is not your average patient in the health system. The health system really is not well structured to support rare disease families. We need a whole different support mechanism, both for ensuring that the day-to-day can be accessible to navigate, but also to support driving forward research. I think, as you all very well know, it is very difficult to do research in rare disease, not least in which because rare diseases are rare. There's not that many of us out there. It's hard to get everybody into a trial site to do a clinical trial or to do an in-person natural history study. And we have a lot of asks of you, the caregivers of families, to dedicate your time and your attention when you're already navigating something terribly complex and personal. So we need a better, easier way to do research in rare disease to help push forward treatments faster. And really the key to unlocking both more personalized support for families and faster research for the conditions is more and better data, right? The more data that we have, the more insights, the better we can shine a light on the condition and help push forward understanding, research, and personalized support for families. So that's really what we're doing here at Citizen. We're helping to unlock the trapped insights from your own medical history to drive better care and faster cures. When you think about it, you are interacting with the medical system constantly. You're leaving almost like a breadcrumb trail of data everywhere you go, between the clinic visits, the imaging, the EEGs, you name it, it's out there. But the problem is it's not very accessible to you, right? It's typically trapped in the various institutions or clinicians or places where you've received care. There's no one place where you have a full view of your health history and you can unlock the insights from that. So that's what we have been working with Shelley and Casey to change for this community. And so how it works at a high level is families just take about 5 minutes to sign up. I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. And Mikkel here is here to offer personal support to anybody that needs it, or even wants, to walk through one-on-one with them what that onboarding process is. With that, we are able to securely collect your medical records from anywhere you've been seen in the United States. We centralize those records for you in your profile on Citizen. You own and control that profile. You choose who has access. No one can if you wish, but if you want to, you can share it with your care team. You could share it, for example, with a new provider for a second opinion. You can also consent to have the data de-identified and contributed to research data sets, which is a very exciting part of what we help enable. So what that looks like is we actually are able to extract key information from the medical records of the community and produce these research data sets that help really shine a light on the condition in ways that had not been possible previously, or in ways that require you to go to in-person clinic visits constantly to collect this data when it already sits in your medical records. And with that data, we can also then provide back to you personalized tools to help you navigate your journey. And we'll talk a little bit about some of those tools that Shelley was mentioning, like our new AI advocate. So what the sign up process looks like is it really only takes a couple of minutes. You could go click on this QR code or go to this link. This is the Acute Syndrome Foundation landing page where you can get started. You can see a little teaser of our AI advocate feature here. And when you click started, you'll be prompted to enter in just a few basic pieces of information that help us tailor the experience for you and also help us collect your medical records. So enter in basic demographic information, tell us a little bit about where you've received care, and then you have the option to consent to research. When you're all set up on your in your profile after finishing onboarding, this is what your sort of homepage will look like. From here, we'll be in the background collecting your medical records. That takes a couple of weeks to do and complete. Those will show up in your medical record tab on your profile. You can then easily from here share with whomever you choose. If you want to share your profile and records, you can change your consents at any time from your profile. If you want to consent and opt in to participating in research opportunities with your de-identified information, we enable you to do that, which is very exciting. This is also where you access your personal AI advocate. And so we'll do a deeper dive into what this tool looks like, but to give you a high-level overview, we're essentially giving families the ability to chat with your own medical history. So this is a secure AI tool that sits in your profile on the Secure Citizen platform that is basically helps you unlock insights from your medical records. So you can ask it things like, can you summarize my child's medical history? Or I need a list of all the medication my son or daughter is on. Or I'm going to go see a new provider. Can you provide me like the main highlights from my child's care that I should convey to this new provider so there's a good continuity of care? So there's a lot of different, really endless possibilities here, but the idea is to help give you a tool that makes it easier for you to navigate care and next steps by, basically putting the insights from your own medical history at your fingertips. A few things we've heard from the community already with this launch is that someone has used it to craft an appeal for an adaptive bicycle that was previously denied 3 times because there wasn't enough evidence that it was required, but through the AI advocate, it was able to craft an appeal for this family. So they were able to get the adaptive bicycle approved. Lots of examples of folks being able to answer questions for IEPs or other filings using the data and being able to summarize the data easily from their citizen health profile. For those folks that are international patients, we do offer in support for you. While we're not able to collect records outside of the US, you can upload your own medical records to the platform and use things like the AI advocate. You'll be featured in the acute syndromes registry on the platform. You can participate in any polls that are sent out, for example, and we're able to extract the information from your genetic reports for research purposes if you consent to participate as well. So of course, we do encourage international families to join as well. I wanted to spend a few minutes on what does it actually mean for the data to be contributed to research, and then I'll pass it back over to Casey and Shelley to talk about how the data has been contributed to research for the community, which is very exciting to share. So taking a look at the back end, after we've collected all your medical records and you've consented to participate in research, we de-identify the medical records and then we extract the key information from the medical records to create these research data sets. And so what that looks like is really a process of normalizing the medical records. So as you know, clinicians this is like a pretty typical clinician note, like what your doctor would write during a visit to summarize the visit. We get access to that information, but then we normalize it. We actually map it to standard terminology so that can be more apples to apples comparable in these research data sets. Because clinicians in reality could write something in a number of different ways, right? Decreased tone throughout could be written it could be written as generalized hypotonia. It could be written as waning muscle tone. The idea here is that we're actually trying to normalize this data set so that it can be used in research and follows all FDA real world guidance on using this type of evidence in the research studies that we support. And so in the end, what we are able to produce are these really powerful longitudinal data sets. They're essentially just giant Excel sheets with a large amount of de-identified data that show the progression of the disease over time, that really illustrate key insights about genotype-phenotype correlation. There's an immense amount of knowledge here that really has helped fuel a big acceleration in rare disease research with over 30 plus manuscripts, abstracts, even IND filings, as we'll talk about later, in the rare disease community. But it's not just for research, it's also for supporting community members navigating the care journey and understanding what to expect next. So an example of what this data can power, for instance, is this is a graph actually for the FOXG1 community, showing the most common symptoms that the community experiences on the platform, and then the median age of onset. When did those symptoms, start to onset for the patient? So what is this telling us? Well, this is giving us a picture of what the disease progression looks like over time. This is really important for a family maybe that has a child that was recently diagnosed, and they're trying to think about what do the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years look like. How should they plan? What should they be investing in to support their care? But it's helping to illuminate and understand what does the baseline look like for this condition, which is important for families to understand. Many other things that can be done with the data, but another thing that I would highlight that was really important for the FOXG1 community is this. All you need to take in is that this is a really complicated graph. And what it's showing is it's showing the unique medication combinations that a patient takes. And so if the entire community had the same medication journey, the same standard of care, there would just be one line, right? Clearly not the case. And actually, I couldn't even fit all the lines on this one slide. So this helped the community advocate with their clinician community. Hey, we're not all on the same page. We don't have a true standard of care. Let's have a dialogue and conversation about it. So these are the types of things that, yes, we are definitely powering research, but we're also powering community conversations and the things that matter to you most, to help make sure you have the data you need to make, your best next step and decision, both as an individual family, but also as a community as a whole. So I will pause there and just reiterate that no, Mikkel, myself, and Gio are here to support you. And if you have questions about the platform, how to onboard, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We're also always building and adapting the platform, and we want to make sure it's meeting your needs. So to the extent you have feedback, please share that with Shelly and Casey or us. And we're excited to support you and hope that you, are able to experience the platform and derive some benefit from it. So with that, I will hand it back over to Casey and Shelly to talk about the data in action for the community.
Sounds great. And as Shelly's bringing up those slides, Kate, can you explain, just in case someone hasn't heard the term de-identified data? I mean, I know we all are a little concerned about, where does our data go? Who is it being shared with? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. So when we talk about de-identification, we talk about removing any personal identifying information. Think names, exact dates of birth, location, anything that could trace the data back to you as an individual. We've removed that from the data set. We follow the HIPAA expert determination for de-identification of data, i.e. the best in class methods for de-identifying data to ensure your privacy and security is protected. Our Chief Regulatory Officer, Devin McGraw, was one of the key authors on the HIPAA laws in the US that still protect patients and their privacy and rights to their data today. So she's very much involved and embedded in our process for ensuring that privacy and security are our number one priorities on the platform.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate.
All set, Casey?
Yeah, ready to go.
Families, bear with me. This is my first screen recorded video with live voiceover. So I didn't record the voice so I could stop at any time to answer any questions or jump back if I need to. And also this was a 16-minute video that I was able to get into just for. So when you go onto the home screen, you're going to first log in and enter your password or create a new account. It's pretty easy if you know your password, which usually that's the first thing everyone forgets. And it's going to take you right to the AI prompts. So you can see once it, toggles and loads up. Yeah, here it comes. So you're given a lot of prompts if you're not really sure about what question you want to ask, what you want to start with. But as you can see here, I'm in Casey's profile because Stella has over 2,000 medical records in here. So I thought let's dive into something really full. So I'm typing in how has seizure management gone in the past year? And these searches can take anywhere from 30 seconds to sometimes quite a bit longer in Casey's case because she had 2,771 medical records. So it took quite a few minutes to find this. It's compiling all of the information and it's kind of neat. I like this part where it shows you which documents it's going through um, and how long and looking at 48 more, it's really cool. And then it will come up with an answer for you. Sometimes it might not, but bear with us. As much as the more questions you ask, the better it'll get, the easier it will get. So it came up with some takeaways. I'm going to pause it because I can't remember how long this little spiel went, and I always talk more than I need to. But the bottom line here, and this might be a surprise for Casey because she maybe didn't ask this question, but it says over the past year, management with VNS plus
Cenobamate.
Yep, thanks, has yielded a meaningful reduction compared with earlier years. So as a parent, I would see that and be really, really happy with that result because sometimes we track, or we watch seizures, but we never really know, are we having more or are we having less? And I thought this question was very appropriate for someone like Stella and to see, where Stella's at for the last year. So now it also gives you a couple extra questions. Is there anything else I can help you with? But I decided to ask, like, what should we prepare for our next neurology visit? You can see my bad typing and how slow I am, but it'll do the same amount of thinking, but I advanced it because you didn't really need to see it again. And I'm going to pause it again. Did I go too far?
It's a tiny bit, but
Mm. Okay. So with this, and I can't remember again, like if I scrolled up and down, it gave a huge amount of questions that you could ask under different categories. And right now, like some of these I would never think of asking again, like any changes with their VNS or what labs do we recommend? Can we update any protocols that are in place? And you would just choose what you want to ask from here. And then oh yeah, I did scroll, but there's just so much,
yeah.
and a list of things that you should bring with you. I need that stuff because if it's not in my brain, I don't remember. So I like that it gives you a lot of different questions or things that you need to bring with you and
It's
tailored.
just nice to have, yeah,
Yeah,
that foundation, right? That base
yeah,
of questions, and then
yeah,
you can alter it however,
yeah.
you want to.
It's tailored exactly to your profile or your EHR. So in the last one, I wanted to know all of Stella's diagnosis and when they came. And this is kind of going back to what Kate showed you on the natural history study, or the profile of an SCN8A kiddo looks like. And you will see here, and Stella again, if you don't know Stella, has a very no, what word do you use, Casey?
A very robust
A
medical
very
history.
robust medical history. So you can see it goes, again, I don't remember if I scrolled and I just don't want to miss anything, or I guess I can keep going. Um, it gives an exact list of any diagnoses that Stella has had and when she got them. Why is this important? Um, you just want to, as a parent, just to see how her symptoms have evolved is nice. It makes you better able to communicate this with any new health practitioners, or just sharing your story in general of how it goes. But also for me, it was paperwork. And when I see Casey, like when it comes to paperwork time and that pile of paperwork she has to fill out, she has the dates and exact diagnoses that Stella has, and she can use these as her, just to fatten up that, caseload. And that took all of like that last question was only a couple minutes, and probably would save Casey days. I want to say days,
Mhm.
because it's not even hours with that many diagnoses. No, it's not, it's doing it again. Um,
Yeah,
Time and emotional strain. I mean, it's
right.
emotional seeing those, but I'm gonna have to escape and get it out.
Yeah, when
Um,
Shelly first told me about this, I was like, "Ooh, let's play with this." And so me and her were both on Stella's and doing the AI tool, and I was just blown away. And if your child hasn't participated in a clinical trial yet, these are all questions that they'll ask you. And what are the diagnoses? When did when did she receive those? What are the medications? When did they start? When did they stop? And Stella is 10 now, and so it is a lot of information to keep in my head. I used to be able to be real good at it, and now it's like, oh gosh, was that 2017 or 18? And so when she showed me this, I'm like, so it made that my life a lot easier when I was asking, or answering those questions. All right. Well, thanks, Charlie. I really appreciate that. And anything else you want to mention about the AI tool before we
no,
move into research?
every time I go into it, I'm shocked about the information it pulls and how quick it does it. Um, and for me, as somebody that's a bit scatterbrained, I have a binder, and like Nico's case is a lot different, but his stuff is in here. And for me to be able to just go in and ask it a simple question and it pop up. Yes, sometimes it takes 4 minutes, but it would take me way longer to find it, record it, and type it out. And like any AI, you literally can just copy and paste it into a chart of your own, which is really amazing. It's really exciting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'll kind of jump into the research progress that we have made within the SCNA community. Kate talked a little bit about overall what other DEs and other organizations have been able to do with it, but specifically within the 8A community, Dr. Jillian McKee from CHOP has written a paper. We actually co-funded a grant with Cure Epilepsy for her to go in and really abstract a lot of data and be able to use that to look at the natural history of SCNA. And so she actually just published this paper earlier this year. And then also, Shelley and Kate also mentioned that the citizen data was actually used from the 2A and 8A cohorts in the trial design for Embold 562, which is really exciting because as we know, our children, especially in the 2A and 8A communities, are different than other DEEs. And so when they were looking at the Embold study, which is specifically for the 2A and 8A community, then they were actually able to say, you know what, this cohort, this particular group of people, it can have a different a trial design than all DEs. And so you probably remember, as we've talked a lot about Praxis, in this trial, they didn't have a full placebo arm. That arm of the placebo, you are only on placebo for 4 weeks versus the full 16. And they were able to go to the FDA with this information that they received from Citizen to be able to, back up their case of why that needed to be designed in that way. So that's really, really cool. Shelley, I'm going to have you go to the next slide here. So I have two different slides from Dr. Michael Hammer, and I'm not going to explain these because this is way out of my wheelhouse, but I will say that, if you decide to share your data with the Shea Emma Hammer Foundation when you're signing up, he's able to extract this data and be able to show different things like the different seizure types. The different comorbidities, the hospital visits, all of those things. And then if you want to go to the next slide too, Shelley, then he was actually able to look at specifically the different types of with subcategories of SCNA, if you will. So those phenotypic subgroups, so loss of function, DEs, and be able to compare like the deficits of fine motor, gross motor, language, academic success, things like that. So I wanted to highlight that Dr. Hammer is definitely using this data as well. I've even seen, he didn't share it with me this go around, but I've seen him share a specific slide for like even each child. So again, it's de-identified, but you could probably guesstimate, like with Stella, you might be able to pick which one it is just because of her large amount of information, but he can do even particular slides that are on each child individually. So that was really cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to hand it back over to Shelley.
I didn't know I was getting another turn. This is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the most exciting things for me and partners in our partnership for Citizen is they have this amazing social media woman and marketing woman that creates all of these documents, and I can pick and choose which ones I like and just slide our little logos into them. And it has made my life super easy, which again, why partnering with them is really easy and perfect for me. So right now we're doing Share for Rare, and we're really, really hoping to reach our goal of 150 families signing up. So right now, I think we're at 114. I didn't check today, which I want to say is very impressive and very remarkable because it's just almost at the 50% mark of patients that are located in the United States. So we're really trying to get to that 150. It's really easy. And if you can use the QR code here or the link, and we do have links in this support group and in the emails that we've been sending out weekly. And honestly, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer them and set up a private meeting if you don't want to do it with Kate or Gio. And Casey will help too, but she'll probably just send you to me anyway.
I would. Kate, did you want to talk about any more about the particular program that's going on right now?
I'll just add that there are some fun prizes valued at over $5,000, and they're very thoughtful, like nice gift certificates, little things for yourself as a caregiver to hopefully brighten your day. We're excited to give these away. The other thing that I would add is that the number is not just a number, it's really families represented. So every family that signs up adds their experience to the collective knowledge and wisdom that can help us push forward research faster. And so think of it in that way, is really every new sign up is like a step closer to unlocking some hopefully meaningful insights for the community. So thanks for everything that you do already to contribute, and we hope you join us.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the main takeaways from today is really realizing that when you sign up for this, it's not only helping you, right, as a caregiver, being able to organize this information, especially with the AI tool, but also be able to participate and be able to, with research, be able to push that forward. I was going to mention really quickly too, Shelley, and I know we've talked about this before, but we had a particular volunteer that uses this program to the utmost fullest point that you possibly do it. And so her child is, in that in between of moving from pediatric to adult care. And there were records at the adult care location, actually in the pediatric, that they couldn't receive in the adult. And so they're trying to make this educated decision on treatment, and yet they didn't have the information they needed. And she was like, you know what? Boop, boop, boop. Pulled up her citizen, was able to show them what those results were because they had it right there. And they were able to make a more educated decision on where to go from there just by being able to use this data. So it is really convenient for parents. But then also it's a huge plus that, researchers can use this to help push that needle forward for our SCNA community. So we, definitely would love for you guys to join and jump on. Kate, I was going to mention too, so the prizes are for people that are new to signing up for Citizen, correct?
It's both new to signing up and any patient or
Oh,
family that signs back in and just interacts with the AI advocate. So even current
okay.
community members, we're sharing the love. So we'd love to have you engage with the tool. Every engagement helps make it a little bit better, and we love feedback. So when you are logged into your profile, you can see the option to chat with Mikkel directly there, or you can send an email to support@citizenhealth.com.
Fantastic. So if you haven't signed up yet and you want to sign up, and then you would get, included in that prize uh, raffle. But then also, if you haven't signed up, or if you have signed up, go in, use the AI tool, and you'll also get entered.
I
That's
think
right.
also this is a great time for those 114 families, or I think it's just about 100 that haven't logged in 3,000 days. So this is your chance to log in and refresh your records. So that is one thing about Citizen. It doesn't automatically pull new records when you've had a hospital stay or a clinician visit. You need to refresh. So usually I would say 6 months to a year, depending on how frequently you visit clinicians, or after a major hospital stay would also be the next time you would do that. But go in and refresh as frequently as you want to, and you literally just have to click refresh on the different providers you see, and if there's anyone new, they actually had a lot of Canadian stuff in there too, which I was really impressed with, and I'm still trying to work on getting mine over.
Yeah, I was definitely one that hadn't refreshed in a while. And Shelly was like, you need to go in and refresh. So, of course, it's like, oh, it's just one more thing I got to do. Right. But I went in, so easy. I literally clicked refresh, refresh, refresh. And they were able to reach out to those providers and be able to get those records. And you mentioned too, Kate, that it's free of charge. So you're getting all your medical records digitally in one spot, and you're not having to pay anything, which a lot of times, especially when you have a daughter like mine, you have reams of paper if you were going to print them out. And so the no charge is really nice. All right, so I know we went through a lot of information and we actually have plenty of time left over. So I'm just going to open up the floor to see if there's any questions. I've been keeping an eye on the chat, but you're more than welcome to put it in the chat, or if you want to come off mute and ask your question directly, you're more than welcome to do that. And then we can see if there's any other things that we want to hit.
I think when I think about the data that's in our Citizen platform, and I can't wait to, I don't know, it's not possible now, but eventually I'm hoping we'll be able to ask questions about our children against other children with SCN8A, so you can see, how many children have a diagnosis of, hypotonia, and it might come up with like a number like 100, or it would have 10, and you could be one of those 10. And what I really want to emphasize as well is we have a lot of families like Casey using the platform and other really complex kiddos, but I really would love to see a lot more information on kiddos like my Nico or our loss of function kiddos. So we have a lot more data on behavior and medication use for behavior and all of the comorbidities that come with a loss of function diagnosis, because I know it's equally as long, it's just different.
It's a really good point. Really good point. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. We might have a quiet group today, which is completely fine, especially since we know we have our partners at Citizen always ready to answer and questions, as well as Shelly. Kate, Mikkel, do you have anything else that you would want to add before we wrap up today?
Nothing else really on my end other than just to say, again, this is a platform that's built by rare disease community members for rare disease community members, and we really want to build it with your feedback. And so please interact with it. Send Shelly, Casey, us any thoughts or feedback about how we can help make it better for you, what other problems we can help solve for you. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks again.
Awesome. All right, Shelly, do you have anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think I'm good.
Awesome. Well, I am totally fine with giving everyone back about 15 minutes of their day. So everyone have a lovely day. Citizen, thank you so much for coming and participating and being such a great partner with us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Bye, guys. Oh, before we leave, thank you so much to our sponsors. We couldn't do this without you. We have Praxis Precision Medicine and Neurocrim Biosciences that are amazing supporters for us so we can do these awesome education series for everyone. All right. Bye-bye.